Hey guys, welcome to another great podcast. Felix of Dogs Unleashed, and I have Angelina from Primal K9 Coaching, and we're going to be talking some great stuff. I'm excited about today because we're going to talk about dog behavior stuff. But first, I'm going to have her talk about where she's located right now and what's going on right now, and then we'll go to the past.
Okay.
So where you're located and stuff. Because a lot of people probably not familiar with you. I wasn't familiar with you for a while ago, so tell us about where you're located.
Well, nowadays I kind of stay off the radar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't enjoy all the social media attention like I used to. But I am in Bandon, Oregon, to be specific. And my old business was Unleashed Canine Training. And then about 6 years ago, I changed names and I turned it into Primal K9 Coaching. Why that happened? Well, because of the fact that I was doing workshops and other trainers were coming to me for help. And when students were working with me, they would say, you don't handle dogs like a trainer. You don't teach like you don't teach you don't teach like a trainer. You're more like a coach. You're more like a life coach, and you work with dogs in a very primal way, not in a cookie cutter fashion, right? So yes, I work very differently, and it comes from a long line of working with all kinds of different animals, right? So I'm 15 years in now, but way back in the day, so I'm 37 now, but back when I started, I didn't have money for school. I didn't have parents who supported the whole dog training idea, right? So just to kind of shorten my background a little bit, I went ahead and I went to school for vet tech because I wanted to, go that route. And while I was going and doing animal control, I did that for Lead Animal Foundation. I ran 400 kennels every day. Back then, it was like $6 an hour.
Wow.
In 120 degree, 400 kennels.
Wow.
I had to clean every day for $6 an hour.
That's a lot of poop.
Yep, and in Vegas too. So it's 120-degree weather. And so back then I was putting dogs together who I was like, hey, that dog would help this dog open up, and that dog would help this dog look great and get them adopted quicker. And I was the only one back then who was running socials. And this is back in like 2008. Okay, so I was taking a whole bunch of pit bulls and putting them together. And the managers were like, I don't know how the hell you do that, but you're getting dogs adopted. And that was my way of trying.
I got to stop you for a second. Did you ever have fear of making a mistake or anything back then?
I don't, to be realistic, I don't think anybody's not afraid. You just kind of handle it. So like back then, I used to literally walk 2 miles every day to go sit and study dogs at the dog park. This is back before people were saying, go study a dog park. I was like, how do I become a canine handler? How do I get to do this when my parents don't support the idea? I don't have money for school. I wanted to go to Michael Ellis back in shit, I was like 13 years old. I wanted to go to Michael Ellis school. And I wasn't supported.
He had school out back then?
Back then, yeah. Yep. He's had it going for a long time. And I just remember going, okay, well, if nobody's going to help me, I'll just have to go from the bottom up. So I went and I studied the dog parks, and then I got a job at the Lead Animal Foundation as a kennel tech. And then I couldn't handle being the only one that was bringing all the aggressive dogs to the euthanasia table, and they were putting dogs to sleep left and right. And they're like, well, you're the only one who can get near this dog, so then it became depressing to be in kennel tech, right? Then I moved into animal control, kept begging them. They looked at me like, okay, what is this little girl going to be able to do in here with catch poles? Yeah, right, But I kept harassing them. I was like, please give me a job. Like, please, I belong in here. And they're like, okay. And then not too long, they ended up putting me in charge of any of the aggressive dogs coming in because I couldn't handle the catch poles. I hated it. I hated watching them drag them in. They're biting their tongues and they're panicking.
Oh, that
Um,
sucks.
and then they have to be expected to pass a behavior test in 48 hours to go up for adoption. Like, okay,
Wow.
they already hate the shelter right off the bat because of how they have to bring them in. But anyhow, so there was that experience. That's where I learned how to use, a paddle. That's how I used the catch poles. That's how I used a broom and whatever I had to use to block and yank dogs out of a kennel quick. We had 80 dogs coming in about every 4 hours. So we had to
A
get
lot of
these
dogs.
dogs in and out quick. We didn't have time to cater to their
Where
feelings, and
did
I
these
had to give
dogs
them.
come from? Like
These
straight?
were, strays, owner surrender,
Wow,
compensations.
that's a lot.
Um, so this was where like, okay, well, you learn how to read the dog fast so you don't get bit. You're like, okay, well, I can't get bit, and I've got, an hour to get 80 dogs. No, 4 hours, but I'm saying like when you're crammed down to 1 hour and you still have all these dogs get out of the room
Wow.
into other kennels, and I have to vaccinate them, deworm them, microchip them, not just pull them out, but I have to take a photo of them for the online for their
I hope you had
website.
help.
Yeah, well, yes and no. There was usually only two people
Wow.
like working at any time. So it was boom, boom, we got to get them through the door and out next room. So when you have to move that fast, you kind of learn, like, listen to the dog's body language fast or you get bit. So it'll teach you
That's a
to
fast
move
way to
fast
learn.
and slow down.
That's
Yeah,
a fast
yeah,
way to learn.
it is a fast way to learn. And if you can't keep up, you get fired. So it's that, all kinds of pressure, right? So then there's that dynamic of my handling skills, where that came from. Um, and then I worked at Rosenmoor Zoo. That was fun. That's where the porcupine and the king that and the otters and the monkeys. And so, I learned pretty quick that if you don't pay attention, you get slapped by a monkey. So, like, you learn that, and then I worked with Birds and Beasts and Birdman of Las Vegas. So,
Oh, wow.
with Joe Craftwall, he's not. Um, let's just say he working with exotic animals that are raised in captivity. It goes back into the whole just using food. When you're going in that kind of training for trick training, right? So, like, we used to train the animals and sell them to like Busch Gardens.
Okay.
They'd say, hey, I need an elephant to stand in our lobby for an hour. So we go get an elephant, train it, and they do that job, and that's that. But it's all food, right? So that's where you learn how to do things differently. This is where it's completely reliant on food. It's not about relationship at all. It's,
Gotcha.
you offer the food, you say, if you want the food, you have to do this. And if you don't do that or you don't try, you don't get fed. Right. So then you
Gotcha.
kind of
Yeah.
have to learn the balance of how to tip the scale, how to fast them to a healthy level to get their fear to drop and then their interest in the food to go up.
What was the most difficult one you had?
As far as animal to train,
Yeah, like I mean exotic. I'm not talking about dog. I'm talking about like exotic. Do you have
ostrich.
ostrich?
Yeah,
That's a big bird.
they're dumb.
They are really.
Yeah,
They're big.
the ostrich named Niobe. Um, I remember my boss. He left town to do a show out in Red Rock, and he left me in charge of I think it was 2,500 animals.
Wow.
And the ostrich had jumped out of her enclosure. And when she was out, he has a swimming pool on the property. So
Uh-huh.
when I came in, she was out and she was hanging out by the swimming pool. And I called my boss and I was like, I don't know how to get her back in her enclosure. And he's like, well, use food and lure her in. Well, the bird had been eaten all day. He wasn't hungry. He's been out just helping himself to the grass and everything that he can find. So I'm sitting there like, a dumbass, just like, come on, trying to lure him in. He looked at me like I was stupid. So
Yeah.
then it, yeah, my boss was pretty pissed when he was like, I got to do a show. I don't have time for this. Figure it out. I was like, well, she's gonna drown if she gets in the pool. Like, I don't know how to pull an ostrich out of a pool, you know.
And it could
So
be dangerous too.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So Niobe, I just know that if you were moving fast past her enclosure, she would chase you. So I was like, well, and this is a long time ago, so I feel like a dumbass now, but this is like way
You
back.
gotta learn. You gotta learn.
And
So you gotta make
you gotta
mistakes.
learn, right? Exactly. So back then, I was just like, okay, well, I noticed that I can get her attention by running around. So I went out in front of her, and I was just like, and I pretended like she was chasing me. I was like, ah. Ah, and she stopped eating immediately and looked at me, was like, doosh, 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 started chasing me, and I was like, ah, so I actually ran into her enclosure. And
Wow.
then because I had food, she chased me in there, and then I threw the food on the ground and ducked against the wall. And then I called my boss. I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry. I got her back in her enclosure. Because I tried, using a leash and around her neck and pulling her in. If you can't pull an ostrich. They go
I
backwards.
know. I've never been next to one, so I will believe that for sure.
Yeah, there's no pressure release concept on an ostrich. So I tried that, didn't work. So I called him. I was like, well, I got her in. I just pretended like she was chasing me, and then she started chasing me, and then I got her in, and then I gave her food, and he's like, you just taught my best showbird to chase humans? And I was like, well, shit, when you put it like that, yeah, I did. Oops.
Did it
Oops.
actually turn out that it chased humans afterwards?
He actually took her off of his shows because of me. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Well,
He didn't
that's
want to test it, see if it would happen.
no. Nope. He was like, nope, now I'm just gonna have to sell her because now she's dangerous. I can't have a kid run past the
Wow.
show in like SeaWorld or some kind of show, and a kid run past and her stop and start chasing because she knows that she's gonna get food at the
Wow.
end.
Wow.
So it's just like, well, damn, I'm sorry, but I was young, and that's when I was really learning. You're always training no matter what, and that's how quick they learn. But
That
yeah,
sounds like
anyhow,
something. I kid you not. That sounds like something from Jurassic Park.
that would be more like the cassowaries, which I worked with those too. But they were smart. The cassowaries were smart, and they'd eat a whole apple.
Wow.
Just dangle a whole apple, and they just gulped the whole thing down.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, so I worked for the Birdman of Las Vegas, Birds and Beast, Brews and More Zoo. And then my first dog training gig that I got was American Canine Training by Carol Frisbee. And she hired me instantly back then. I remember during the interview, she was like, who taught you this? I was like, dogs, dogs. And she was like, well, you're going to work with the aggressive dogs in my class because I have no idea how to help them. And um, I think it was her interview asked me like, what's the most important thing about training? And I said, timing. The faster you can reward, the better, and the fastest you can correct, the better. And she was just like, nobody ever gets that answer right. I was like,
That's good. Wow.
okay. So she hired me on the spot, and then with her, I did um, agility classes and obedience classes. And then, yeah, 10 years ago, I left her and came to Northern California when I got a job offer at SeaWorld. But we won't get into that because my dog was shot and she's supposed to
Sorry.
do the show. But yeah, and then I opened up my own business, Unleashed Canine Training 10 years ago, and then renamed it because of my students to Primal K9 Coaching 6 years ago.
I gotta ask you because we spoke about this before. We've spoken a lot before,
Hmm.
but tell me about your season experience.
Oh, the season. Which one?
I no,
Um,
just
so
like
let's see.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
10 so 10
like
years ago,
what? How did
my
it happen?
yeah, so 10 years ago, what was it? Oh, I had a dog that was stuck in a kennel for 4 years, that somebody rescued, from the woods. And she had been feeding this dog for 4 years. It was still aggressive, could not go in its kennel. Big 10 by 10 kennel, just in her driveway. She thought she'd help the dog. And I got this dog out of the kennel, and the same day I got him out, um, that's when I got a phone call from the director with Caesar, offer me a scholarship
Oh
that
wow.
I applied for, just as kind of like just out of boredom. I wasn't really trying, 'cause first of all, I don't win anything, you know. So I think I never even looked at Caesar's website before, and I just looked on there, and he was giving away some scholarships,
You saw him on TV
for,
though, right?
yeah, yeah, no, I did. The funny thing is way back then, when I was working with clients, they're like, "Oh, you work like Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer," and I'm like, "I don't know who the hell this guy is, but this is just how I work."
Uh-huh.
And but it was consistently happening, and I didn't like Caesar at first, just because everybody was like, "Oh, yeah, that's what Caesar does. Oh, you got that from Caesar." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, I don't know who the hell this man is." So when I finally looked him up, I was like, "Oh, somebody who understands me. I'm not crazy."
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not just speaking some weird,
Yeah.
stuff. Like, somebody gets me. And
That's
I
hilarious.
remember back then I was like 20, 21, and my parents laughed at me when I said, "I'm going to meet him one day." And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
You'll see. Watch, I'm going to meet him one day. And then when I got that scholarship, I got nominated. They said they've never had that many people nominate one person from two different states on top of it.
Nice.
Um, and then I got that, and he was just the most awesome, most empathetic, most in tune
Nice.
man that I have ever met. Um, just a big heart that you can
Yeah,
see a mile
I'm
away.
jealous that I want to meet him myself.
He's, yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, yeah, it was because of him that I realized
So
emotions
what was the
play a bigger
scholarship?
role.
What was the scholarship like? You get to work with him or
It was no, it was to go to his TCW workshop that was like a week long or something back
Mhm.
then.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, it was magical. It was awesome.
Nice.
It was awesome. Yeah, he actually offered me a job to do classes out there, but back then my son was a baby. And
Yeah,
I was like,
so
I can't drive 15 hours to go do classes. So that was pretty
wow.
nice. That was cool.
That's the
And he got to
drive.
hold my son. Yeah, he held my son too. It was cute. He's like,
Oh,
babies
nice.
don't like me. And I was like, Caesar, I'm not, you're holding my son. Put Zion in his arms. And he's like, he starts crying. He's like, see, nope, nope. Gave him back to me. It was great.
That's funny.
Uh,
So you
yeah.
were out there for a week with him.
Yep, just a week. And it was awesome. The whole crew, everybody there, the volunteers are just, like I said, the best hearts, you know. Um, and I learned a lot from him, mostly about myself, about how to work with my clients. He's really big on how to connect with your clients in a deeper way through like four different worlds, right? Like, some people are very emotional. So there's the
Mhm.
emotional world, there's the spiritual world, there's the intellectual world, and then there's the instinctuals. So dog trainers are usually instinctuals. It comes to them easily, more common sense for them. Whereas other people look at their dogs like it's their child.
Yeah.
Those are the emotionals. And you have to kind of find a way to connect with them through the way that they look at their dog for them to hear you. So, yeah, he definitely helped me in not judging my clients so much, more of just understanding them rather than getting mad at them. Going, you need to do this. It's a
I
dog, you
I did.
know?
I went to a show. He was talking about that. He talked about how
Yeah.
the way that they view things. intellectually, religiously, stuff like
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
accidentally I did meet him. I did take a picture with him, meet him, but not like that, like not like you did.
Well,
Yeah.
if you ever have a chance to go to
I
one of his
I
workshops,
would love to. I would love to. So
yeah, you should.
where was he, or what did you learn about drives before, or did he teach you about the
No.
like where did you pick up about
Um,
like drives?
so the drive thing has been more of my own perspective on things. Um, Caesar didn't really go into the drives. You
Okay.
know, he went more into like what aggression is, reactivity versus actual, red zone aggression, right? Like so the drive thing was more of me trying to help my clients understand the dogs better, how to mold what they're looking for. The drive stuff was more of me trying to help dog trainers see things differently. Like it's not just the dog. It's not like you just take a cookie out and it's very simple, like make them sit and that's it. It's not about where their body is. It's about knowing where their brain is at, like what that dog is going to do depending on where their brain is at. And in my experience, a lot of trainers cannot accurately read body language. Like, oh, he's just excited. Okay, well, that means competitive. No, he's happy. Okay, well, he's happy in a competitive state of mind, meaning he's in rank drive, and I'm trying to remember where I learned, rank drive. And I think you're gonna laugh, but I think that was like, gosh, probably like 13 years ago, 14 years ago through Penn Foster is I got certified a long time ago just because I was young and people were like, "Oh, who are you
You said
certified?"
Penn Foster?
Yeah, yeah, like back then, I was young, so people were like, "Oh, who are you certified through?" And I was like, "Who gives a shit?" I was like, "If you can't tell my results work, whatever." But then I went and I got certified through Penn Foster, but one of their books actually has like
Oh,
rank
for
drive,
people that
prey
don't
drive.
know, Penn Foster's like what we say, a school
Yeah.
institute, something like that.
Yeah, it's just an online institute that you can go get certified, but I needed something because I was young and then, trying to get clients, people were just like,
So
they want to
they
see
had
papers.
drives. They have
Yeah. Yeah.
material on drives. Really? Okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep, they did. So I kind of took some of that mixed with what I seen. Like when I'm watching people do bite work, when I watch people do scent tracking, and so like really studying and kind of creating my own perspective on it. I think everybody has their own perspective on it. I don't think there's like a one way meets all kind of a thing. Like I have a way that makes sense for me.
Mhm.
If I have somebody that does bite work or protection, we're probably going to battle heads a little bit, just because I see something very different. I'm seeing defense drive when they're seeing prey drive, right? Or vice versa, it might be the opposite. So, like, I think it's more important to know what world you are residing in as a trainer, right? So, like in the pet industry, I'm going to look at defense drive probably differently than protection work, you know? Um, And it really does depend on who you're talking to, because I don't like to make anybody wrong, right? Like, we're not here to do that, but I am gonna say like, okay, but why? But why is this your definition of pack drive, right? Like, why is it your definition? So Caesar did go just a tiny bit into the drive because pack drive is one that, he did give the definition to. But he didn't go very far into like, okay, let's study these dogs in prey drive. Let's study these dogs in rank drive or pack drive, right? And he'll do every once in a while as you walk through a day with him. He's like, pack drive,
And
prey drive,
explain why. And
and he'll
explain.
just point. And notice point. Well, because people are very visual. And I mean, that's why I'm trying to write my book and get that published, because when people ask me, like, where did you learn this? Do you have any books to kind of clarify? It's like, well, I'm going to make my own book, and it's going to give very visuals on like what it looks like. So it makes more sense when you see it on a bunch of different dogs, the ear, the tail, the position of both, you know, the eyes, all of it.
Well, when he went to
Um,
aggression, when he was talking about aggression, he didn't discuss. You say he did a lot of aggression stuff. Did he didn't discuss about
mm,
drives during the aggression?
you know, I don't remember him going too much into it. And this is, like I said, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay, so Caesar mostly focuses on people's emotions and how our emotions have a direct effect on a dog's
Mm.
response to you, a situation, the world. So, and a good example for that he would do pretty consistently is he would have people come out with dogs, and he would take one dog and put it in your hands, and then everybody would look at that dog in your hands, and they take that dog and he'd put it in somebody else's hands, and you would see that dog's personality change according to whoever was holding the leash. And
Gotcha.
literally, because they mirror us. So like if you're calm and assertive, they're calm, you know? So like if you're having anxiety, you can usually see because the dog is just
Mm.
all over the place or on
I've seen that.
defense.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Or on defense. Like you take the so I told you the story with Lorenzo, right? His llama.
Lorenzo Lama?
Lorenzo the llama.
Oh no.
Okay. So
You know,
Caesar,
there's a guy named Lorenzo Lama, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's an actor. I think he's a martial arts actor. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, that's your field. Um Yeah, no, so I mentioned this because of, you know, it's emotions are a big thing that a lot of trainers kind of look past it, and they like just kind of discard it like it doesn't mean anything. Um, but for example, Caesar has everybody meditate before they even go touch a leash. You know,
Really?
he doesn't
Wow.
he he doesn't want you handling dogs if you're unstable, and he
Wow.
wants you to be able to notice if you're unstable so that you get out of the situation and you don't work with the dog. So
Wow.
everybody, you know, a lot of people have a bad perspective on Caesar, and it's Caesar's a human, and he had to learn the hard way of, you know, taking on more than you should, right? You're standing up there around a bunch of cameras, a bunch of people with all this pressure, and you need to learn how to say no and walk out, because if you're already overwhelmed, the dog doesn't want to listen to someone who's overwhelmed. So you're not going to get the same response from a dog if you are in a calm state versus if you're having anxiety, if you're carrying emotional baggage coming into that situation. It's going to change the whole outlook, you know. And so yeah, Caesar learned from his mistakes of emotionally taking things personal, right? Like with the
Mm.
dogs, just
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
things
A lot of
personal,
people
and
do that. A
instead
lot
of
of people.
breathing and saying nope and walking out and going and calming down, right? So and he I couldn't meditate to save my life. He had us go sit down at the tables, go meditate, and I'm fidgeting and I'm itching and I'm just like, and I'm getting mad because I'm loud. I'm over here itching and it's loud. I'm fidgeting and everybody can hear me fidgeting in this room. So now I'm taking it personal. Now I'm embarrassed. Now I'm pissed off at myself that I can't just sit and relax. So I get up and I leave, and Caesar wasn't in there. And
Uh-huh.
suddenly he shows up and he's just like, Mowgli, because that's my nickname.
Uh-huh.
He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And I'm like over here pretending I'm fine.
And you're
My,
amped
you know,
up.
like, well, I wanted to cry. I walked out because I wanted to go cry. I was so
Uh,
embarrassed that I couldn't meditate, that I couldn't sit still and relax. You know, it's 10 years ago. I had no idea that I just didn't know how to relax, right? I was on defense all the time.
gotcha.
And so, yeah, so I walked out of there, and he's like, "What's going on?" And for him to notice that was huge for me, because back then I was so good at hiding when something was wrong. Like I didn't talk to anybody about my problems, never vented.
And he could sense it.
Shut that shit down, and he noticed. And he was just like, and I was like, I'm fine. Why? And he was like, you can't, you know, you can lie to the humans all you want, but the animals know the truth. And he's
Nice.
like, today you're gonna walk with Lorenzo, and I've got a pit bull that wants to eat him. So you're gonna come with me, and we're gonna go for a walk. And I'm like, oh.
Wow.
So then I'm over here in my head going, don't fuck up, right? Like this is Caesar, don't fuck up. And then I thought I was over my stage fright. And apparently I wasn't. And so they handed me the llama, Lorenzo, and then they've got cameras in every direction. And we've got like 30, 40 people following us. And we're walking down a road. And there's cameras in front. I'm not allowed to look at them. And so my anxiety level is just through the roof, but I'm pretending that I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
I'm fine. All right. Then Lorenzo over here, I'm thinking llama, no big deal. I've worked with horses and like I told you, cassowaries, ostriches, whatever. I'm used to things trying to kill me, you know, so I'm like, it's okay. So I'm walking and then Lorenzo starts, you know, trying to hump me.
Really?
He's trying to hump me. So I, you know, pop the lead rope. I'm like, hey, knock it off. And he just gets worse because inside I'm getting embarrassed that he's trying to hump me in front of all these people and cameras.
Wow.
So the worse I got, the more I took it personal, the more he tried to hump me. And then he's like, here, take Lorenzo. And they took him and they put him in someone else's hands and he just calmed right down. So now I get pissed because I didn't know any better. And at the time, I didn't know what Caesar was trying to teach me.
Wow.
So I see him calm right down and he's fine with them. And then he has them bring him back to me. And he goes right away into, oh, it's you. You need to calm down. Starts trying to hump me again. And so he took him away, put him in another person's hands, and he just calmed right down.
Wow.
And I'm like, so now I'm pissed.
That's a lesson, though.
Now I'm pissed. I'm like, this stupid llama made me look like an idiot, right?
That's a lesson.
I'm blaming the llama. Yeah, I'm blaming the llama. Okay. Anyhow, but that was my lesson that he did in order to teach that our emotions can literally make an animal go into fight or flight.
So let me ask you a question. I'm assuming you still believe that to this day.
Oh yeah.
So do you find, and I know you do because I do myself, you find that a lot of these behavior issues that these people are having are stemming from the owners themselves? Because I'll give you an example. Like I had this one dog that's had separation anxiety with this lady, and she seemed a little bit like wound up herself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Do you find
in that
you have to focus, tell the people calm down or take it easy more than work the dog?
No, so not in that word. Not I mean they're so what did you just say? They're emotional.
What?
What'd you say? They're emotional, right?
Yeah, the emotions or whatever it is, if they're amped up or they're insecure or whatever they are, the person, the dog is exhibiting behavior issues due to that.
So if they're already having anxiety, and it really depends on the person, but your job as a trainer is kind of like a life coach. So if I need this person to listen, how do we get them to listen? We build their confidence, right? We help them see that their emotions are a problem, but in a way that's going to make sense for them. So if this person has anxiety, I'll come at it, you know, in a very different, it really depends on the person. So sometimes I'll come at it with, like, this is a common one, as the dog, because of your anxiety, because you're scared, because you're worried all the time, because you're carrying a lot in here, your dog's thinking that its job is to help calm you down and take care of you. And that's becoming its purpose, is the dog is getting affection whenever he's coming into your space, checking on you, right? You think he wants love, when in reality he's going, what's wrong? What's wrong? And you go, thank you for.
Go ahead. Go
Oh.
ahead.
So like, in that situation where the owner is really wound up, really has anxiety issues, that's where I'll typically kind of go at it with the dog is learning on accident that every time you are stressed out, he's coming in and asking if you're okay, and then you're petting him and going, thank you for being concerned about me.
Gotcha.
And then that dog starts to think its purpose in life is to watch over you, take care of you, and help set boundaries for you. So with them, having them learn to kind of see that their dog is helping them rather than their dog is a problem. Like they already have anxiety, right? So how do you give them control? All right, when you see your dog check on you, stand up, tell them it's okay by sending them to their calm down spot. And when they calm down, then invite them in. So like I'll do funny things from like your dog is like your nurse right now and he's checking on you, and it's up to you to say, I don't need your help right now, thank you. Or thank you for letting me know that I need to go calm down. I'll go work on myself now. But you don't pet, right? You go, thank you for telling me, go lay down, and then I'll go work on myself.
Gotcha.
Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the emotions have a huge role. Huge role. Like so, like if that person is afraid, that dog's gonna go who, what, when, and why. They're gonna hone in on anything that can possibly be causing that person's anxiety. And then you have that protective behavior, reactivity, all of that, from the dog thinking that he needs to go take care of whatever it is that's, make it go away, whatever's causing its owner to feel anxiety. Because they don't understand. They don't understand why the owner feels anxiety. All they know is the owner is anxious, and because dogs live in the moment, the dog's gonna look around and go, who, what, and where is causing this, and I'm gonna go create peace here by making everything go away or calm down. And they're gonna do that in fight or flight, in that fight option, or chasing it away, right?
I'm just laughing for a second because I went through a situation recently that these people rescued this dog puppy. It's 6 months old. This puppy would just, whenever the leash was on, the puppy would just sit, not want to move at all, dead like a dead rock. And I was trying to have them do leash pressure. This just a flat collar, no prong collar, no nothing, just a flat collar. And I had them husband pull a little bit. So, and the wife was having a panic attack. It was saying, "Oh, is the dog gonna go through trauma?"
I think I saw you mention a post recently, or you made a post recently about that.
Yeah, she actually believed that, and there was nothing else, just leash pressure, teaching on off. I was trying to teach the husband and teach them to do leash pressure, the pressure leash. Whether it's the right way or wrong way, I've done it before and it's worked. But it was no prong collar, it was no just leash pressure. As soon as I saw the dog puppy go a little bit forward, I had them release the pressure.
Yeah.
And she was thinking the dog was going to have trauma because of it.
So this is where you kind of have to cater to your clients a little bit, in my opinion. I mean, there's definitely trainers out there like, this isn't going to work out, go find another trainer.
Yeah.
The thing is the dogs are easy for me.
Yeah.
At this point in where I'm at in my life and how many dogs I've handled, it's all the same. It's all the same thing. They're easy. It's the humans now that keep things interesting. It's the humans, it's the clients now that I'm like, okay, how can I open up your brain to get you to even consider that this can help? Okay, let's try putting the leash on your arm then. That's where it's like, okay, explaining what you're about to do before you do it, which it sounds like you did, right? Like you
I was
explained.
I was explaining while teaching them to do it. Actually,
Mhm.
that's a good idea. I didn't think of that. I'm gonna think. I'll think of that next time. Um,
Yes,
I,
explain
I,
it before
yeah.
you do it and say, this is what's going to happen. He's probably going to hit the e-brake. He's probably going to put his foot down. He's probably going to hold his weight down out of protest, out of confusion, not knowing how to respond to this pressure. And then what I'm going to do is hold the pressure and tip the pressure a little bit so that he offsets his balance and takes a step. And when he does take a step, I'll let go. Now, sometimes I'll have to hold the pressure for a certain amount of time before he realizes that all he has to do to get rid of that pressure is to take a step and that's it. Right. So,
Hmm.
like a lot of those clients that are scared, it's because they don't really understand what's happening, what you're about to do. They're intimidated. They think you're going to abuse or hurt their dog. You know, and they don't really understand that you kind of have to hold that pressure and keep holding it. And if you let go, the dog's going to learn to
Yeah.
put his foot down in order for you to let go of the pressure. Like, how to get rid of the pressure? Well, I sit down or I
Yeah.
resist, and then you'll let go.
Yeah.
So like you have to kind of explain that before you do it so that she understands what you have to say, like, you might be hard to watch, but you got to give me a try here.
It was.
It's
It's just.
normal.
It's just. It just like It just. It just amazed me. Something so little minor. I know. It's not through different eyes, but it's just like
Yeah.
drama. Like really, like trauma for me.
Yeah.
Trauma is like the dog's gonna be like thinking it's gonna be killed every moment the rest of his life. There's
Well, I
nothing to
had
do that.
I had a client come into my class not too long ago, actually. Sorry, I'm just gonna roll up these windows because traffic here. I had a client come into my class not too long ago, and she's got a border collie, like nab type thing, and what was it? Her dog came in with like extremely worried ears. I mean, airplane completely worried. And she wanted to try the scent work classes. I said, okay, make sure you bring her hungry. Don't feed her breakfast before she comes in
Yeah.
because we are around a bunch of people, dogs, distractions. We're in the middle of town doing this, like in a touristy spot.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to introduce the dog into noticing the odor in the can and all of that. But she was so worried. Her ears were worried about the surroundings that she didn't care that much about the food. Like she'd come in and just kind of take a little nibble. And I was like, this isn't gonna work. She's not hungry enough. Yeah, but it's good to stay here because she's worried about her environment. And she's like, she's not worried. She's having a great time. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, she's her ears are completely worried, and she's like, but her ears are always like that. And I'm like, well,
She's always worried.
that sucks.
She's always worried then.
Yeah, I said, well, just because they're always like that doesn't mean that it's good. And she's like, well, she even sleeps like that. I was like, that sucks. Like, and anyhow, and she's like, then she brings her dog's face up to other dogs' faces. And I tell her all the time, if you're not going to listen, you cannot come to my class. You cannot bring your dog up to other dogs' faces to say hi. And she's like, well, she just wants to say hi. I'm like, yeah, but that's not how you say it. She's like, well, she always does fine whenever I do it. And it makes the other students uncomfortable that she's just wants to do what she wants. And I'm like, if
That's
you're going
not
to be in
good.
my class, I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to debate.
Yeah, someone's house.
So,
You gotta follow their rules.
if you're here, you're here to learn. I said, my job, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I'm here to tell you that your dog does not trust you to keep her safe because you're pushing her into situations. You're rushing her up to people, up to other dogs, into places. And you have these high hopes for her, but you don't really care how she feels. I'm telling you right now, she's scared. So go home, watch when she's asleep. Take a photo when she's completely sleeping, knocked out. And I promise you, her ears are not going to be in this position. They're not always like that. You're just getting used to it, and so that's something that I'll do a lot. No, they're just because it's a husky does not mean it needs to be up and over their back. That tail does not need to be up here. But it's a husky. That's nice. That has nothing to do with his emotions right now. His emotions are on alert.
The funny thing is, I find that these people, and obviously dog owners, they're asking for help, they're asking to train the dog, they're asking for guidance, but yet they want to give their expertise.
Debate.
They want to give their expertise.
They want to debate.
Yeah, it's like they want their cup. They want to empty up. They don't want to empty the cup up for the information. That's what it is.
Yep. Yep.
They know what's right. They think they know what's right. But they don't know what actually is the right thing to do. They think they know, and then they want to go on those beliefs.
Well, I just saw someone. What was it? This morning, somebody posted in the local group here. She has an XL bully breed crossed to a Cane Corso.
Oh wow!
And she goes, "Hey, is there anybody that has a Cane Corso or an XL bully breed that would like to meet up for a play group so that they can play? Not everybody understands that they have their own play style. So I'm trying to find someone with the same breed so that they can play." And I'm like,
Yeah, that could be nasty.
Yeah, and so of course I commented, "Hey, I've got off leash socials in town if you want to bring them in." And just because his breed plays rough does not mean that that's how he's supposed to play. The breed plays rough because they're very competitive and very territorial. So it's our job to teach them how to play softer, have boundaries, how to interact in a calmer way so that they don't overwhelm another dog into defense drive. So that when another dog snaps at them, it's because they're speaking up for themselves and they're saying, "Hey, have some manners. Hey, slow down, back off." And that bully breed cross Cane Corso either is not listening or he's picking on them and thinks it's fun that the dog is nervous. And now it's just like a little bunny rabbit. It's like, ha ha ha, let's just throw you around. It's like, she's like, "I know what I'm doing. I'm in many XL bully and Cane Corso groups on Facebook." And I was like, "Oh man." And she's like, "And I have a trainer and we're doing really well." I was like, "Okay."
All right.
But that's fine. Just so I do have the off leash social so that he can learn how to interact without putting his body on top of it, the other dogs. He doesn't have to throw them around. Like, play is practice for fighting. Play is just a hierarchy game. They're not just playing football just to play. Like, you're playing to win. And if there's no referee, play turns into a fight. If there's nobody saying foul, that's too rough, that's too much, that's not allowed, it's going to escalate.
Instead of saying, "Listen, let me pick your brain, let me find out more about this," she just shut you off.
Yeah. Oh no, she goes, "Oh well, my trainer's been a trainer for 25 years and it's I've already heard because our comments got someone, a trainer who just moved here who loves my work, and she wrote me privately and she's like, "Hey, I just befriended that girl." She's like, "She doesn't listen to anybody. I've been watching her dog's training and the trainer just has, her literally just popping the dog on a prong for everything. And just anytime it doesn't listen, pop. Sit. You don't listen, pop. Down. You don't listen, pop." And I'm like, "Okay, well, there's no relationship there, but."
Nice. Every mistake, the dog gets popped.
Yep.
And I bet she's not communicating anything at all, so.
No, she said she's watched her and she's hung out with her and the lady wants to let her her dog off leash with this girl's Malinois, and she's like, I'm not doing it. I was like, good for you, don't do it. She's like, I'm gonna convince her to come to your socials and come to your classes. I was like, okay,
Wow.
well, we'll see, because I don't even know if I want her there. She's gonna argue, you know.
People are amazing.
But
That's the most difficult thing. I had
yeah,
a lady go to contact me about a year ago. She went to a trainer I know. Trainer said that basically the dog sucks. Basically, that's what the trainer told her. And she contacted me about a year ago or something like that. And then she contacted me again, and the trainer's telling her, this trainer's actually telling her to put the dog down. Everyone's telling her to put the dog down. And then it bit her daughter recently. And then she comes to me for help. And I want to help her. I've done it before, dogs like that. And before we even met, I haven't met her in person. She saw it, her husband saw one of my videos. And I'm not good. And I'm not saying I would use the equipment, but he saw me use the e-collar on my videos. So she turned me down. She's like, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I got to cancel." And not to say I would use the e-collar on the dog, but that it could be a possibility. Might not be a possibility. Not to say I would use it to blast the dog for bad behavior, aggression, but
right.
just based upon me using e-collar, he persuaded her to not train with me and then put the dog down. And they don't even know why I didn't even meet the dog. I haven't seen the dog. I haven't done anything. And they, instead of having, and I was trying to give her hope. Nope. No, I don't. I'm gonna put the dog down. I'm worried about it biting, blah blah blah. My family, and my husband saw the e-collar. He doesn't want to use. So the husband, and I say I would use it, but using e-collar instead of putting the dog to sleep.
I know. That's always my favorite.
You know, it's
That's always my
so
favorite.
much more humane to put this poor animal to sleep than use the
Yep.
e-collar. Of course, use the e-collar in a justified manner, right? Use the e-collar right, not just blast the dog. But put the
Yeah,
dog.
and then with people like that, it's like I will tell them we don't have to use an e-collar.
She
You
didn't even
know?
give me an opportunity. She shut me down. She put that wall up. I didn't even get an opportunity. I was asking, come on, no, let's blah blah blah, let's blah blah. No, she shut me down. I don't know if he influenced her enough that she figured I'll just put the dog down, and he said no, because he originally said yes. She signed up. She was all gun ho and everything, and then got backed out of it.
And then saw
So
the e-collar.
yeah, so the e-collar, and
Yeah.
anyone could look at my videos. I'm not blasting the dog, but he just saw that I was using equipment, and he cut it off. And okay, I guess it's more humane to put a dog down than to use the e-collar in his mind. Everyone's an expert. I had a girl one time. She had pit bull, and we used to prong collar because this dog was so out of control, aggressive. She was 110 pounds, soaking wet. This dog was huge, a strong pit bull at the time. She had no control, nothing. She used the prong collar, got control. No, she needed the leverage. But her friend suggested using the harness, right? And guess what her friend had?
Yeah, this mega bully, the mega bully Corso Cross is in a harness. So I was like, really? So of course I commented. I go, what trainer is this? I've never heard of a legit trainer for a pet dog that has somebody walking a Cane Corso bully breed in a harness that's been trained. He's been training for 25 years. So, you sure he doesn't do protection work? Are you sure you're not trying to do protection work or tracking or
even Even
you
protection,
know.
they would tell her to put something else, not to use the harness.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why I said, are you sure they're not trying to increase drive to do protection? I mean, anybody who's creating a bully cross with a Corso, I mean, what are your goals there? Really? Are you trying to make pet dogs? Doubtfully. Doubt it, you
Yeah.
know? Anyhow, but so, well, I mean, are you trying to increase prey drive, rank drive, defense drive?
Uh,
Like,
I,
if
I,
so,
they don't
if
know
so,
what
I'm just curious.
they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea
They
what they
don't.
want. But going back to
They
the
don't.
story, the girl and her pit bull, her friend suggested the harness. Guess what? This guy never owned the dog his whole life.
Hmm.
Never owned the dog. So he's telling her what to do based on whatever information he has from wherever, and no experience of any kind. Doesn't even know, never owned the dog, but he's telling her to put a harness on. Yeah, crazy. And she told him, "Listen, I could control. I used the harness, still work. I can control this now with this collar." But everyone's an expert. Everyone's an expert in everything. You know,
Yeah.
they're expert in everything.
I know I'm starting to go, the more and more I've been in this, I'm like, why am I even training anymore? Because everybody thinks they know what they're doing,
I think that's the biggest. I think
you
that's one
know?
of the biggest issues out there, besides the dogs,
Yep.
whatever, is that people are not looking for the help. They think they know what they're doing, and then they come to you
Mm-hmm.
to fix a
Yep.
huge issue that's could have been fixed a long time ago.
Or they want free help. I mean, I made a post about my day camp that I'm opening up now because the rainy season's starting up. And somebody commented, you know, $1,400 for dog training. Like, what the hell's wrong with people? Are they seriously that lazy? And I was like, well, I certainly would never spend $300 to get my hair done. I certainly would never spend $85 to get a mani pedi, but people do it. And
Yeah,
I don't understand it. But guess what? People are lazy. So they'd rather pay someone to go do that instead of learn how to do it themselves. And that's different. It's not a life that you're screwing up. You're not
yeah,
messing
yeah,
with
yeah,
a spirit in a
yeah,
body
yeah,
that has free will.
yep.
You're messing with hair, you know? Do you go to your doctor and bitch about the price for them to straighten out your spine?
Nope.
No, probably not. But I bet you if you went a long time ago and you said, "Hey, I don't want to have spine issues later on. What should I eat? What should I do in order to make sure I have a nice, strong spine and not have to come to you later?" People don't do that, you know.
Do you know I had someone contact me? They had I don't know, a little dog, Chihuahua or something like that. They allowed this dog to go on puppy pads for 7 years. They had the dog since a puppy. They allowed this dog to go on puppy pads for 7 years in the house, and then now they wanted to housebreak the dog after 7 years. And it's like, it's some of the things are so unrealistic, and they don't realize that, and it's too late. Not, I wouldn't say it's too
Yeah.
late. I mean, ain't this possible? But still,
Well,
7-year-old
it's
dog to housebreak after 7 years of puppy pads.
yeah, and you can do it, but I don't think they're gonna like it.
Yeah, they're so
I don't
used to.
think they're gonna. I don't. Yeah, they're so used to their routine and how
Yeah,
easy it is to put a pad on the
yeah,
floor,
yeah.
pick it up. You're gonna say, okay, yeah, I can do that, but you're gonna have to change your routine. We're gonna have to do great training. You're gonna have to let them
No,
out
I'm talking
a
about the
lot more
dog. I'm talking
often.
about the dog itself. 7
What about
years.
it?
No, I'm just saying 7 years of going on puppy pads.
No,
It,
I know, but I'm saying you could change that. But
yeah,
what I'm saying is the owners don't want to change their routine
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
order
yeah,
to change this dog's learned behavior and its habits.
yeah.
You can't, yeah. I mean, I had a dog that was no, 13, 15 years old dog, that was I got a phone call because it was lunging off the couch at their little baby that was crawling, just starting to
Oh wow.
crawl, and he would lunge off the couch, McNabb, border collie, of course, and but it would come shooting off the couch and try to almost bite the little baby in the face anytime it was coming in the direction of the couch or in his direction at all. He'd sit on the chair and anytime this dog got nervous, he went up on the couch to
Wow.
avoid the kid, and then basically when that little baby would start crawling in his direction, he'd come out
Wow.
and basically bite the kid in the face. And she's like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to put him down. He's 15. He was here, before the baby, but like I need to keep my baby safe. I'm like, okay, take the dog off the couch. She's like, but I can't do that. That's been her couch for 15 years. I'm like, okay, well, we need to do crate training, first of all. Well, he's 15. I'm like, okay, he still needs to learn how to escape a situation, not feel trapped there. And so literally anytime you see him staring at your kid, you correct him and send him to his crate. Show him anytime you're stressed out, look, there's the exit. You can remove yourself. You cannot make the kid go away, but you can go away. And she's like, well, isn't that like cruel? I don't want him to think he's not loved anymore. I was like, you literally were just talking about putting him to sleep. You were just telling me that you might have to put him to sleep if you can't get this fixed. So do you want to put your dog to sleep? Because if it's a yes, then stop talking to me. Go do that. If you want to fix this, if you want your dog to understand how to feel safe around your baby who's now trying to crawl, then you need to start giving him his own bedroom and sending him in there anytime he's overwhelmed. And he's not allowed on that couch unless you invite him, period. If he's staring at you, asking for it, begging for it, he can't have it. If he asks for it, helps himself, he gets corrected since his calm down spot in his crate. And eventually, she went from thinking about putting him to sleep to that dog now will sleep with that baby.
Wow.
That baby is like his best friend. And all it took was take the couch away and send that dog to the crate anytime he's looking at the kid. Wow. Anytime he's watching that kid, go lay down. Remove yourself. And the dog kept removing himself and realizing that, oh, you're not trapped there anymore. You don't need to set a boundary to the kid, and you don't need to correct the kid from coming into your space. You can learn to walk away even after 15 years.
Wow.
So, I don't really care how long the dog's been doing something. It just matters if the human is willing to change their habits.
I agree. Yeah.
And the dog will just change. Like, okay, I mean, you can have a service dog, a seeing eye guide dog, for 2 years, 6 years, whatever. And they're doing a job, a lifestyle that keeps their skills performing in the way that they are expected of them. And then as soon as they retire and they go into a pet home, that dog is no longer acting like a guide dog anymore. We're talking about like the day after it retires. Even though he's been working for 10 years.
Wow.
He's now in a new home with a new routine, and that don't expect the dog to earn anything. They don't require obedience anymore. They just let him be a happy retired guide dog. You're retired to do whatever you want, and that dog will never act like a guide dog again.
Wow.
Because he's not in a guide dog routine.
Wow.
So, yeah, Chihuahuas are not easy, but they're still a dog, and they still learn, and they still, repeat habits that are rewarded and don't repeat habits that are going to have consequences.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, a lot of the factors, a lot of the things that could help these dogs, the human is the issue a lot of the times. People, don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you're creating this issue. You're making this issue, or you're not doing what has to be done. Oh, I want my dog to love me, blah blah blah. Well, you gotta love your dog.
He does love you.
You love them at the right time, not when they're like, they're barking at someone, growling at someone. It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. He's a
How'd that go?
good guy. He's a good guy.
How'd that go, Felix?
Good boy. He's a good boy. No, they rub their pet him and they rub him like I've seen it. That's the reason that they not succeeding. I know they're trying. They don't know any better, but they're failing because they're doing the wrong stuff at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And the problem is, this is the problem. They don't want to spend, like you were talking about before. They don't want to spend the money to get the help.
They don't want to spend the money, and now YouTube has really made that worse. Oh man,
YouTube.
Everybody's on YouTube for free help. I'm telling you, it's bad.
YouTube,
like, oh, and TikTok.
YouTube is great for certain things. You know, if you want to teach your dog to roll or something like that, okay, great. But when you need severe help, the dog is going after people. That's a totally different issue. You know, you want to teach your dog to sit, you want to teach your dog to roll, okay, great. YouTube's great. I use YouTube for a lot of stuff, but you know, there's a certain limit. Or even go get some ideas, options, or advice or something, but don't rely on it. You know, I don't know. I don't know the way people think. I don't think like a normal person. So I have very
well. Remember earlier how we talked about drives and like just kind of knowing where you focus, like where are your skills focusing on. You know, if you're a trick trainer and you like doing trick training stuff, then gosh, I'm trying to figure out the right way to put it because I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, I've already, believe me, I always offended some people on the previous.
Oh, I just don't like pissing people off. You know,
I don't
like debate. I don't like the debate. I don't like. I don't have to.
You gotta realize something, and I know you probably already know this. No matter what you do, you breathe. You're insulting someone.
I know that's valid.
You know what I mean? So
I know.
I always
but like
put information out there.
You can't. So like a trick trainer is not. It's mainly purely positive. Let's just say it for what it is. Trick training is mainly purely positive.
Yeah.
Unless you're fasting them, right? I mean, for the most part, it's purely positive.
Yeah.
It's so like if you're a trick trainer and you're trying to help an aggressive dog, a really reactive dog, and you're like gonna sit there and wait forever to click and then pay, you know, it's like the reality is know your skills. Like, I have an aggressive dog. I'm not going to go to YouTube and look for a purely positive trainer who does trick training. Like, go look at what they do and go, okay, can I see some results with dogs like mine before I copy their videos? Like Zach George.
Yeah. That guy, he gets me those eyes. He just like he looks like weird. Anyway,
the,
I don't
deer
know.
in the headlights look all the time.
Yeah. You know, the thing that also gets me is that, and these are, and we're not trying to put people down. These, hopefully, anyone that listens to us, it's just that these are the mistakes that people are making, and the dogs are suffering for it. So one of the other issues I always come across, and once again, it's the owner, is that we were working on it. We were trying to fix it. How you gonna try? What kind of expertise? What kind of experience? What kind of knowledge do you have to even try to fix something? We were trying to fix it. I hear that a lot. We were working on it, trying to fix it. All right, how many dogs have you trained? How many?
And now it's so different because beginner trainers think they can come and charge, you know, some like what I'm charging, or like they come in and they're like, I love dogs and I got a certificate online, so I can charge the same as that person. It's like, that's not how this works. You know, like originally, if you wanted to learn, like if you took on a new client that their dog was displaying behaviors that you're not familiar with, you wouldn't charge them, Felix. Like back then, you wouldn't even charge them. You would just be like, hey, let me see if I can help you. You wouldn't say, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know how to help this. Take their money, and you really have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Now you just took the money of someone that worked really hard for that. That's all they had. They could have paid someone who actually works with dogs like this on a daily basis. Now you just took their money, screwed up their dog. Why? Why? So you can make some money and because you need a validation for yourself.
I don't know how
Hey,
people.
I've never worked with a dog like this before. Let me go ahead and just see what I can do. Like the dog that was sitting in a kennel for 4 years. That dog was so feral, pit bull. I mean, it was found with the embedded choke chain from here underneath its arms, like it was a puppy, and it grew over the chain and
Wow.
healed over. So he was rotting on the inside, infection, and his skin healed over the chain.
Wow.
Right? So like this dog was completely feral. They had to catch him with tranquilizers and catch poles because he was terrified of human scent for the traps. He would just run away. The other pit bull got shot because they were out there by the cattle ranches. And then this lady was like, please don't shoot him. And they had animal control come out and tranquilize him. The dog was sitting there for 4 years. This dog was so feral, so taught to defend his space as a protection pot dog for the marijuana out there that you can barely flinch a toe and move a toe and he'd come after you.
Wow.
You look at him wrong and he came after you. You know, you anything new, he came after you. And it was so hard that I was like, I'm not charging you for this dog. I was like, this is not, I don't feel right because I'm trying to learn how to get this feral of a dog out of a kennel that it's been, years since I worked in kennel. And this is a 10 by 10 kennel. This isn't a tiny run that you can just block the dog into the corner and yank him out. This is a dog that he's got room. And he's not only lunging at you, he's going up at your head. He's not coming at your legs and your knees or your feet. He's flying up at my face just moving a little bit to a certain angle. Like he was so traumatized. And he ended up killing one of my dogs, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Eventually. That's how bad he was. He actually broke out of a kennel and completely ripped the legs off of a dog.
Oh,
Ripped the jaw off, like on a whole nother level of aggression. That now, yes, I will tell someone put a dog down if I see it's that bad.
wow.
I'm like, no, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. That could have been my kid. And that
Yeah.
dog broke out of a kennel. But I'm just saying, like, when you have a dog that you're like, this looks really complicated and I don't know where to begin. Just don't freaking charge and you'll be able to learn faster. You can take your time with it. You can really truly help them. And then guess what? They'll end up giving you money anyway. They'll be so happy that you helped them that they'll end up giving you money. But like to come in there charging when you have no idea how long this will take, you have no idea what it's going to take to get the outcome that they're looking for, then your job is to say, no, this is a learning opportunity for me, but I'm just going to help you. If you want to pay me later, that's fine. Why is it that hard? You're smiling, but like really, why is it that hard for people to just refer to someone else? Either help them for free or refer to someone else.
Well, I think it's a lot of ego.
It is ego. It is ego. And, or just to say, hey, I'm going to help you. I don't feel right charging you because this dog has a lot of complex issues that I'm not familiar with. And I want to see if I can help you first. If we succeed, then you can pay me. Why not say that? And if you're that broke that you can't work for free, then you don't take on the dog. Refer out. But ego, exactly. Ego.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass. And I mean, really, I had, because I'm doing my duck herding now. doing
That's
duck
funny.
herding,
Those ducks are
and
funny. Those ducks are
it
funny.
is awesome. But holy hell, did I get slammed for it because I took a photo for my book of a dog, in prey drive, and the duck was like full on. I mean, had a feather flapping, and he was panicking, and I used that as my promo photo to advertise my duck herding. Oh my God, I got so slammed. That poor duck is being traumatized. Can't you see? And then the dog's being choked. Like the dog has pressure here and she's holding him back. Yes, but this is what it's not supposed to look like. That's the whole point of the promo photo is before and after. But
People always
yeah,
slam you for. I mean, you could have the most perfect picture, and there's gonna be one person saying, "Why are you doing that? Oh, you're doing this wrong by the dog." Or you, it's
yeah.
always it's
Yeah, and
always.
I defended myself in a nice way. I was just like, yeah, the photo looks terrible, but that's, before and after. And the photo was just being taken for a book on body language that I'm doing. She's like, another red flag. Another red flag. Animals are not props. And I'm like, oh,
Oh, jeez.
oh my God. Yeah, you're right, ma'am. They're not props, but these poor ducks, you're going to give them a heart attack.
Like I said, I
I
go back to
promise
the
you.
same thing. The biggest problem with dogs is the human. You got
Yeah.
these people. You got these people
Yep.
that these dogs are suffering because of people like that.
Yep. I'm like, come to my class. You'll see that the dogs are constantly being shown how to respond to the duck's panic. When the ducks start to panic, the dogs are being shown to move off of them.
You see, that's
Like
what
how to respect it. I even have a duck, Felix. I even have a duck that turns around and corrects the dogs. He comes back and he's like, and starts. I mean, full on. He'll chase them and peck them, like let them know, hey, you're getting too close.
You see, that's where we differ in one way. You try to help them, make them understand, explain, and I'll bother if they want. If they want to understand, I'll work them through it. I'll teach them what's going on. But a lot of times, I just don't bother because it's like, listen, that sun's not yellow. It's purple. If I believe that, I believe that. And how much you gonna take to, explain to me that's it's yellow? You know what I mean? It's just people believe certain things, and no matter, and I've done it, and no matter how much you explain to them, how much you whatever, they're gonna believe that their way is what they believe is the right thing. If they're open to it, I will help them. I've done it. I've had people that didn't like the prong collar, didn't like the e-collar, didn't like it, and they loved it afterwards. They're open, but you have those people that just like, oh, you're stressing the dog out. Stressing the dog out. We're just doing pressure, just minor pressure.
I had a mechanic. He saw he came to fix my truck the other day, and I had my dogs out and they had their e-collars on. Because I don't have random people come to my house like that. So I want an e-collar to correct him in case they try to jump on him or anything while he was underneath my truck.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, you've got shock collars on them, huh? And I was like, no, I've got e-collars on them though. And he's like, well, not the same thing. I was like, no, we're not shocking no dogs. And he was like, he just looked at me like, what?
Yeah.
That's always my favorite. No, I use shock collars. No, I don't. I use e-collars.
Problem with a lot of things. I was actually talking to one of my friends about this. No trainer, is that people just so uneducated on certain topics, and they act like they're educated on the topic.
Yeah, and that's kind of my way of making them feel dumb without saying you're dumb.
Yeah, exactly. It's just they're so uneducated. They try, and if they're uneducated and they want to learn, that's one thing. But they just like they think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. No, you got shock collars on. Oh, what'd they do? Are they bad? I'm like, I don't know who uses an e-collar like that. What do you mean? Let's play dumb.
Unfortunately, there are people that do use the e-collar like that.
No, I know. I play dumb. So
Oh,
sometimes I'll just play dumb. I'm like, huh? What? You use it because they're bad? I've never heard of that. I use it whenever we play.
did you hear? Did you
And
see
then,
the?
and then they look at you like, huh?
Did you see the post? I saw a post the other day. Some owners bought some $90 Amazon e-collar. The battery exploded on the dog.
Oh
Poor dog.
shit. Nope. Nope. But
Yeah, that's what they get for
you know, that's what happens for cheap.
yeah.
You're trying to get cheap. Go ahead.
I'm like,
Yeah.
poor dog down to, and then they're not gonna say it's because it's a cheap collar. They're gonna say because it's an e-collar.
Yeah, but it's not backed by e-collar. It's backed by Amazon.
No. I'm saying they're not gonna say that is because it's a cheap brand. And they're gonna say it's because of the collar itself. Those collars.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's gonna, like, it's not
Yep.
it's not this pit bull that has the issues. It's all pit bulls have issues.
Yep. It wasn't the hammer that actually beat the man to death. It was every man that has a hammer now.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So so we're gonna wrap up. So anything that you might want to tell people as far as helping the dogs, anything tip that you might want to give, or even trainer, like even a dog trainer.
If I could say one thing that I do more today that I did not do back then. Back then I used to be, either food only or no food at all, and it was just correction based, right? More negative than anything. And today I work very differently, more in a way of using their instinctual drives to benefit us more than anything. And if I could say anything to a trainer, would be slow down, go watch dogs at a dog park, go just study them, go watch their ear position, their tail position, go learn how they communicate in the home to establish leadership, and why obedience fails is usually because of the stuff in the home that's not matching the obedience expectations. Expecting a kid to, like, I taught the kid to come here when I call them, to calm down when I tell them to, but now we're ready for Disneyland and we're gonna go to Disneyland, and then I'm gonna wonder why the kid does not care to listen. And it's like, well, do you have expectations every day? Do you have boundaries every day? Do you have a routine that says, show me your good grades in order to go to the party every day? Or do you just let them go to the party no matter what the room looks like? And so, like, now I'm very different in the way of, I'll let the dog have whatever they want, as long as they are going to give an effort to try to give me what I'm asking them to do. Just try, and then you can have what you want. Try. And then next time I'm going to ask you to try a little bit harder, and then you can smell the ground. And then I'm going to ask you to try a little bit harder in order to be able to go explore. Right? So, like, using their natural motivation. Well, my dog just wants to smell. That's nice. Have him earn it. Well, he just wants to play. That's nice. Make him earn it. He wants his food. Okay, make him earn it. So, like, literally using what their instincts say that they want in order to get what you want is more natural. Like, that's more fluent, and they're going to understand you a lot easier. If the dog's like, I want out the door. Okay, well, I want you off my ass. Go over there. And when you go over there, now you can come out the door. Right? Well, okay, I want that food. Okay, well, I want you to not be jumping on me,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you do this for what you want. Like the duck herding classes. The duck herding classes didn't come all together just because I want to do duck herding. It was, well, the dogs want to chase things. So why not use ducks in a way that help a dog understand that if you listen to the owner, you get to chase the ducks.
Mm.
I'm going to send you into chase and then I'm going to call you off the ducks.
Mm.
And if you listen to me, you get to go right back into the chase. Listen to me and then you can herd them. When I tell you down, it's down. If you listen, go get them. If you don't listen, get away from the ducks.
Gotcha.
If you're going to blow me off, get away from it. If you're going to listen, you can have it. So anyhow, that's my biggest
Great.
thing there is using natural life rewards, using
Gotcha.
more of what the dog wants in that moment, and to have them earn it.
Awesome. Yeah. Makes sense.
More than just food, because not every dog wants food. Not every dog can you fast. Also, you can't fast a bunch of dogs. And now it's getting even worse, Felix. I don't know how many dogs you're seeing from trainers that are being found as skin and bones, and those are the trainers that are trying to starve the dogs into complying.
Well, they believe that's the right way of doing it. That's why.
Well, so did SeaWorld, but that's why the killer whale killed him, huh?
I'm gonna tell you one real quick thing. I went to
Yeah.
a training. I went to a training, expensive training, and it was whatever 5-7 days long. And the train next to me was a train like me. It was used did food and everything. And the train place that we went to, the main guy, he was a toy guy, play, right? And
I
after
use
that,
a ton of play.
huh?
You know that.
What?
I use a ton of play.
Yeah,
Ton of
but
flirt
the thing
pole,
is,
ton of tug.
the thing is, you use play, but you also use food, right?
You know,
This guy, he had experience using food forever. All of a sudden, now you're taking this course, and this one person's telling you to do this. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying it's bad way. I'm just saying you got research, experiment, and do stuff on your own to discover. Don't drop everything you know and just go on this path that you have not even explored yet. So he was going to drop all food training, no food at all, just to go to play. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I'm just saying you got explore yourself before you start. No, it's you got to explore yourself when you have success. You've had success in the past, and this one person tells you this is the way, this is the right way, this is the only way, and then now you drop everything. My point is they're doing the same thing with the fasting. Oh, you got to use food. You have to fast them. You have to do this. And they're believing that that's the right way because they're being told. So they're dropping everything they probably have had success for in the past just to do this one method because they're being told this is it.
And then you have to realize that some dogs will not play.
Yeah.
And all dogs will eat.
Or they might take X amount of time to play.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where body language is key. And that's where understanding what is play.
Yeah.
Play isn't just play. Play is not just play.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Go play football. Why are there fights in football if it's just play? If we're just playing, we're just playing. Why? Because there's a lot of ego in play. And if they're not taught to respect each other and have boundaries, not all dogs are competitive. So you kind of have to help them understand that they're safe enough to compete. Where other dogs are not threatened by someone else coming into the game, and they're like Spartan, and they're gonna, knock you down to the ground and not care. Like there's competitive dogs, and then there's low rank dogs. High defense, I should say high fight over flight response, high rank drive, and then there's low rank drive or
Gotcha.
high pack drive with the flighty side of defense drive. Like those are the ones that are not going to play unless they feel advocated for.
Gotcha.
But
It's great stuff today. So I know we gotta wrap up. We're gonna do this again. It was great stuff. Thank you again.
Okay.
So if anyone needs some help online with dog behavior stuff, aggression, or anything like that, or
pack fighting
trade that you do, you could contact that. I'm gonna have your website. I'll have your website on the description. All right. Thank you again, and we'll go talk some more. All right. Bye bye.
Okay.